In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how I was able to backtest this strategy. And you guys can see this right here. You're going to be able to see exactly every single entry and exit and all of that fun stuff. But I was able to backtest this strategy and get it to be up to $300,000 in just 2 months. You guys can see this. And you can actually copy this. This is a copy trading bot that you guys can sign up over here, give your Discord email, all this other stuff, and you'll be able to follow this strategy exactly. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how I did that using this NumPy look back with this RSI. You guys can also see here that I backtested it a bunch, over 4 million candles. You guys can see a whole bunch of these results. I'm going to be talking more about that at the end of the video, but for this video, I'm going to show you one section of how I did this NumPy look back to create a strategy like this. So make sure you guys pay attention. All right, if you want more information about this, as well as how to sign up to do this, wait till the end of the video. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, it is time to get into going over how to do a look back function using NumPy, or just how to do look back in general, to where we can say, hey, look at this RSI here. Let's look back the past 5 candles, including the current one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Because we're going back 5 candles, including this one. So we're going back 6 candles and making sure that all of them are less than 30. And if they are, you can see this one is $29.99. Then get ourselves into a trade. This is very important to be able to look back. You're going to be doing that all of the time when you are creating your strategies. And so here's how we go. Here's how we are going to do it in NumPy. So let's go ahead and move this over here. Let's just go ahead and start with this. And so the very first thing that we'll have to do is we are going to need to pip install Quant Freedom, because we're going to be using some of those things. So I'm just going to go over that with you guys. So in order to do that, what you'll need to do is follow this. So here we are going to be pip installing Quant Freedom version 0.2.0.2. If you don't do it this way, it's possible that certain things could or could not work. And so the way we're going to do that is we're going to create ourselves a virtual environment. And so for me, you're going to bring up your terminal. If you're on Mac or Windows, bring up your terminal. And I have a folder called VinVs. So I'm going to go to my folder, VinVs, and you should create a folder yourself or have some type of coding folder or however you want to do it. But I have this, and we're going to create a virtual environment inside of this. So I'm going to type python-m vinv, and I'm just going to call it temporary, because that's just what I'm going to name it. And so for Mac, I guess it's Python 3 or something like that. And we're just going to hit enter, and this is going to create ourselves the virtual environment. And then what we want to do is activate this virtual environment. So we want to type in temp slash script slash activate. So all I'm doing is just typing T tab, S tab, A tab, and that should bring this up like this. And we're going to hit activate like this. And then now what we want to do is, just like it says up here, we want to grab this pip install Quant Freedom equals 0.2.0.0. So I'm just going to copy that to the clipboard, and I'm going to come down here and paste that in there, and I'm going to hit enter here. And we should be pip installing Quant Freedom. So I'm going to pause this until it's done. Okay, so we have the Quant Freedom is now been installed. And so what we want to do now is we want to tell VS Code or whatever IDE that you're using to set up the interpreter. So I'm just going to do cd temp, and then I'm going to do scripts. So I'm going to cd into that. I'm going to do start dot, and that's going to bring up this folder here. And so on a Mac, I'm not exactly sure, but you're going to want to navigate to your scripts folder to where you're able to see python.exe. So what you can do on a Mac is and on Windows, is you want to copy this right here. And we want to do Control-Shift-P, and we want to do select interpreter, and we want to do enter interpreter path. Here we can do scripts, and I'm going to type python.exe. And now if we go back and we start this again, you'll see that temp is now my whatever this thing is called. And so I'm going to select another kernel. So also for this Jupyter notebook file, you want to select that interpreter as well. So I'm going to come over here and type temp. And so it's the same thing on a Mac. You have to make sure that you actually do all that. Again, if you guys have any questions about how to set up any of this stuff, you go down to the link below and you click on the Discord. So this is what my link tree looks like. And so you want to come down here, join the Discord. Also follow me on Kick as well. That's where I'm doing all my live streams. You guys can join in the live stream when I'm coding and ask questions, watch me make videos, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll get more into that a little bit later. So here, now, after you've done that, you want to create yourself a new IPv, whatever it's called, file. So I just call it new.ipynb. So that's a Jupyter Notebook file. And then again, you select the kernel. You want to select, I'm going to select temp. And then I want to reload my window. And there we have it. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do our imports. So you want to import numpy as np from datetime, import datetime. And we want to do from quant freedom, import dl_ex candles. From plotly.subplots, import make subplots. From plotly.graph objects, we want to import scatter and candlestick. And from quant freedom dot indicators dot TV indicators, import RSI trading view. And then here at the very end of it, we want to type in this right here, %load_ext auto reload, then auto reload 2. So this is going to make it so that way you make any changes or something like that, it will auto reload everything. And so now you should be at a point where you're basically with me. You have your activated virtual environment. You have your imports done correctly after you hit this go button. You've got everything set up. And now we're ready to actually get into the look back code. So the very first thing that we're going to do is actually create a simple look back. So I'm going to call this lb_1 equals 2. So that's just going to be our look back. Then we're going to say array_1 equals np.random.randint. And I'm going to do 10, 30, 10. Then we'll do print array_1. Then we'll have PARR_1. So this is going to stand for previous array. And we're going to do np full array1 dot size. We're going to do np.nan. Then here, so that's going to be our empty previous array. We're just going to fill it with nans. Okay, we're just going to fill this is going to stand for our previous array. Well, previous as in like look back array. I guess it's look back array. We should call it LB array. That's better actually. And then we're going to say LB_ARR_1. We're going to have LB1. So now what we want to do is we want to say out of this array, start at look back 1, which is 2. So start at 2, right? Because if we run this, this is what it looks like as of right now. So we want to start here and fill in this section of the look back array. The reason why is because if we're looking back 2, then we don't need these first 2 right here. That's the whole point of a look back. You don't need these first 2 right here. So let's do this. And we're going to fill that with array1 negative look back 1, right? And so this, and let's go ahead and print LB array1. So what's happening here is we're taking this part right here is basically saying, give me from the beginning, which is this, which is why it's blank, all the way to -2. So it's saying from the beginning, -2. So that's what we're doing here. We're grabbing from 12 to 17, and we're filling the empty array, right? This empty NaN array, we're filling from 2 to the end. So we take this chunk, which is going to be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're grabbing these 8 and placing it here, right? And so now we have a basic look back situation now. So now we have, like, if we wanted to say was once we get to the third index, we want to say we looked back twice. What is the number? 12, because we looked back. So we're at 23. We look back twice. 1, 2. We're at 12. We go to 22. We look back twice. 1, 2, 24. Right, just right here. We're at 19. We look back, and so on and so on and so on. Once we get to 20, we look back 2. 1, 2. That's 17. Forgot to do this. Okay, and so that is the absolute basic look back. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to say, well, what if I want to have 2 look backs? What if I want to have compare 3, 4, 5 different look backs? And that's what we're going to do in the next part. Okay, so what you will do now is the easiest thing for me to do is just do testing.py. And what I like to normally do is just grab this, paste it in here, copy everything, and then press Control F and find this _1, wherever there's an _1. And I'm just going to change that to _2. And then I'm going to bring all that stuff back into here, create a new, whatever this thing is called, a new cell. And boom. All right, because we're basically just going to keep building and building and building on top of each other. So we have the same thing. We have the random. We're going to print it. And now we have this LB array 2. It's going to be NP full. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to make a thing called a grabber. I'm just calling it a grabber. But so I'm going to say G ARR2 equals ARR2 LB2, and we're going to do this dot size. Okay, and so, well, I'll explain what we're going to do about that later. So here we're going to have 0. Let's do this as 3. We have 0. Well, let's just do this as 2. We should start this as 1. So we'll start this as 1. So that's a 1 look back. This is going to be a 2 look back here. So we have our grabber, which is going to be, like we already talked about, this is basically going to be 10. So if we're taking 2 off of this, the size of it is going to be 8, right? So here what happens is we have this start at 2, right? LB2, start at 2, go to the last row and give me column 0. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to add this in here. Okay, so for this full right here, this is going to create an empty array of NaN values, and it's going to be the size of our original array, but we're having 2 columns. So the first one, all we did was just do size because we're building a flat array. This is going to be 2 different arrays, because what we are trying to do here is do something like this, where we have our 12, 20, 16, 24, whatever. Then we have 2, 16, 24, 10. You can see the diagonals, right? So we have a look back of 1, a look back period of 1, a look back period of 2. Okay. And so here, that's what we're doing. We're going to have 2 look back periods. Okay. So the difference here is you could just have 1 look back period if you're always only going to look back 1, but you want to add more look back periods like this, if you want to do some type of comparison, like you want to say of all, if the past, like I showed you in the at the very bottom of this, if we want to say the past, if we want to look at this and say the past 5 candles, we have to have 5 look back periods in order to be able to do that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. So let's go back over here. So the way you do that here is we're going to say this is GR2. So then we're going to do look back array 2. And then this is LB2. Start at LB2. But this time we're going to go to column 1. And now here we're going to say GR2 plus 1. So, and we're also going to put a 1 right here. So here we're saying give me from 0 to 8 and fill that from 8 to 10. I mean, from 2 to 10. Fill this section with 0 to 8 of this one. Then this is saying from 2 to 10 of this in column 1, fill it with 1 to 9 of this array. And then we'll print this look back 2, and you'll see that we have that, right? So here we are grabbing the very first one. This is 0 to 8. So we're going to say 0 to 8, which is 14. You can see here, 0 to 8, that's what this is. Then this next section right here, we're going to just go in a chunk. So instead of starting at 0 to 8, we go from 1 to 9, and we fill that here. And so how does that end up working? That works because we are saying since we're doing a look back of 2, when we get to index 3, when we get to, let's say, candle number 3, which is this candle, index number 3, or index number 2, I should say. This is 0, 1, 2, which is candle 3, but index 2. When we are at candle number 3, which is 28, right? Index 2, 28. Let's look back 2 candles, or 2 numbers, 2 indexes. 18, 28. What do we have here? 18, 28. So if we are at 16, right, we should be looking back 2 candles, which is 11 and 18. So here we are, 16, which would be, I guess this is 7 or something like that. We're going to look back 11 and 18. When we get to 14, we're going to look back 16, 11. When we get to 19, 14, 16. When we get to the very last candle, 18, we're looking back 19 and 14. Okay, so this is how we are starting to slowly build up the look back here. And we're going to keep adding more to this. So let's say that you wanted to do something simple like subtract your original array from your look back arrays or something like that for whatever reason. So if you wanted to start doing some arithmetic to it or something, you'd have to do something like this. So we can say array 2D equals array 2 dot reshape. We're going to do array 2 dot size -1. We're going to print array 2D, and then here we're going to have array 2D minus look back array 2. And so what's happening here is we are subtracting the first, the second, the third. So we are saying the third array, or the third element here, which is index number 2, but the third element, subtract that from this and subtract that from this. Take the fourth element, 16, subtract that from this, subtract that from this, and so on and so on. And so you have to reshape the array from being a flat array, which is this right here. This is the flat array. So we have to turn it into a 2-dimensional array, and then it's going to apply the subtraction between this one and 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 this one. So you could do subtract, you could do divide, you could do multiply, you could do whatever it is that you want to that array. And now you, well, later on, we're going to get into doing like less than, equal to, greater than. You can apply those different things. You can sum up these rows and different things like that. So we're going to get more into that a little bit later. So now you can see here that this is going to get a little bit tedious. And you can also see that this is 0, and this is basically 0 plus 0, right? And this is 1, and this is 1 plus 1. So now you can see, well, oh, if I wanted to do more, I could just do a for loop, right? And so that is what we're going to be doing next here, which is going to be turning this thing into a for loop. So that way I can literally just change this to like 3. And it, well, it's not going to, if I run everything real quick. There we go. So I changed it to 3. I changed it to 8. It does everything automatically for me. So we're going to do that in the next section of the video. All right, so as I said previously, we're going to just grab this, copy it, paste it over here. We're going to look for 2 and change it to 3. Copy all this stuff over, and we're going to create a new one of these things. Paste that here. And all right, so how do we do this? So this is 3. We're going to change this to, I don't know, we're going to change this to 3. And we have this 10. We're going to print it. We have our look back array, np.full, array3.size. This is going to be, so the amount of columns that we have is going to be directly correlated to, the amount of columns that we have is going to be directly correlated to the amount of look back that we have, okay? And we're going to fill this with NaN values. And then here we're going to get the grabber. So in this situation, it's going to be, instead of 8, it's going to be 7 now. The size is going to be 7. And so we're going to say start at 3 and go to this. And then if I just duplicate this and do it as 2, and this is 2, and this is 2, then you'll see it basically works, right? But we don't want to do that. So we're going to have this for call in range LB3. We want to do this. We want to say call. And now we have it. Same exact thing. We're starting at 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and then we break it. And then now we have our look back. So now you guys can see when we are at index number 4 or element number 4, index number 3, what do we have here? 26, 13, 18, 26, 13, 18, 11, right? We're at element 4. So now we have our look back of 3, right? So everything is still working perfectly fine. Everything is good to go, right? So this is one of the ways that we can make it even better. But then now you might have the question of, okay, well, what if I actually want to include the current? So if we're at index number 4, what if I want to also include that? And what if my array has NaN values in it? How do I handle all of that stuff? And so as you guys can see here, in the next section, we are going to go over that. We're going to deal with, because like, what if we're dealing with the EMA or RSI, which is what we're normally dealing with? The RSI and the EMA have NaN values, because if the length is 14, well, the RSI obviously doesn't start until you get to the 14th part of the RSI. EMA, if you're dealing with 100, you don't get, you don't actually get numbers until you get to the 100th part of the EMA. And so those are going to be NaN values. So we are going to go over all of that in this section right here next. As always, copy what we just did, paste it over here. We're going to change this 3 to 4. Bring it back over, create a new thing, boom. All right, so now we are going to do a thing where we are going to have this include equals true. Now we're going to have num calls equals LB4. We're going to say if include num calls plus equals 1. And so now we have our random thing here. We're going to actually have to change this to as type np.float. And then here we're going to do array for let's say the first two are going to be NaN values, and we're going to change this to 4. Right, so we'll print it. Then we are going to have the array 4 dot or size equals array 4 dot size. So we first need to get the size of the array, right? We need that. It's going to be very important to us. And now we need to find out where the NaN values are. So I'm going to call this a array 4 equals np.where np.isNaN array 4. We need 0 and we need dot size. So this is going to say, give me the true and false values of where the NaN values are at for this. So this is going to say true, true, and then the rest are going to be false. Then this np.where is going to say, where are the true values? Give me the indexes of the true values, and it returns a tuple. And so we're going to say, give me the first part of the tuple, which is just going to be the indexes. So it's going to return 0 and 1. And we want to say what the size of that is, which is going to be 2. So this is going to tell me that there are 2 NaN values in array 4. So this A is going to just be, it's called adder. I just called it the adder because we're going to be adding it a little bit later. And so here we have our look back array, which is this right here. And then we have our grabber. And so let's see, I just want to see something here. And we also have our array for size. We don't need to get the size again. We just have it right here already. So we, wait a minute. I guess we don't even, okay, well, whatever. All right, so we have this. And then again, as always, we're getting to get our grabber. And so here, this is going to also get changed to number of columns. And so what we will also need to do is get this thing out of the way. And we're going to say SPA equals LBA equals LB4 plus ARR. And this is now going to change to this right here, right? So this start, I call this SLBA because it's start look back array, right? So this is the look back array. So this is the start. So what we're doing is we're taking the look back plus the amount of NaN values in this array, which is this right here. Okay. Should probably move this up like this. And then this array size, we don't even actually use this. Maybe we use it a little bit later. Nope, it's actually pointless to have that. Okay. Well, let's just do that then. So here we are getting our NaN values. Here we're creating our array. Here we're creating our grabber. Here we're getting our start look back array. So we're going to start in this situation. It would be 4 plus 2, which is 6. We're going to start at 6 and go to the end. And then here for this bad boy, what we need to do is actually do col plus the array adder ARR4. Right? So what this basically means is if we're at 0, we're gonna skip 2, right? Because that's all we need. We don't need those NaN values. We're gonna skip 2, and so we would be at 2, and this is 6 right here. So this is 4, so it would be 6. So it's saying give me 2 to 6 because this column is 0. So this is 2. So start at 2 and go to 6. So give me those and put them from what is this? 6 to the rest, right? So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 4. And if we're starting here at 2 and going to 6, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 4. So we're storing 4 inside of 4. And then we'll print this. And so what ends up happening is that we get an error. So let me see where my code is wrong. All right. I figured it out. It's because this now needs to be number of columns. Because at first we were trying to do 4. We had an array size of 4, and we were trying to go to column 5 here when there was only 4 columns. So let's just run this again. And so now we have our situation. So here we're at 12. We want to look back. So we are including, right? We're including the current candle. And so we're basically saying 12, 21, 22, 12, 13. We don't need these NaN values. That's what we did. We skipped these NaN values right here. There's no need to do anything with NaN. It's not a number. So we have our 4 look back, which is these. Then we added our 2 look backs. And so now we are filling it with our values here. And so we have 12 right here, 21, 22, 12, 13. So now if we change this to false, we're not going to include our number here. So we have 24. And so that means we're on 19, 24, 15, 23, 17 right here. So now we are getting to the point where it's like I could change this to 3 and it would work. I could change this to 5. It would still work. Everything would still work. If I change this to a 3, it would still work because we're doing 3 and 5. Boom. And now we start here at 23. And if I change this to a 2, everything is still working. Everything is working fine. We have our 3 here and our 2 here. These are NaN values. So everything is looking pretty good. We're getting very, very close to being able to have a function that we can look at. And now we've got to do the big boy here, which is like, what if you have different array sizes? You have some that have NaN values. You have some that don't. You have one that wants to have a includes. You have 2 that don't want to have includes. How do you do all of this stuff without having to do multiple loops? And so we're going to do all of this madness right here in the next section. All right, again, remember guys, any questions, you join the Discord community, and also like the Twitter, like the Instagram, and most importantly, join me on Kick, the live streaming platform. I would live stream on YouTube, but they're like, oh, if you play 1 second of a song, we're going to suppress you and hit you with the strikes and all this other stuff. And if you say one wrong thing, we're going to demote your channel or whatever. Kick is cool. Kick is a cool platform where you can just basically say whatever you want, play whatever you want, and everything is fine. So join me on Kick. All right, so as always, we're going to grab this, bring it over here, change the 4 to a 5. Grab these, create a new one. All right. So now let's say that this is going to be a 3. We're going to do LB 6 equals 5, LB 7 equals 10 or something like that. And here we are going to delete all this include stuff. And here we have array 5. This is going to be a random. And this is going to have some NaN values, and we'll print that. Then we're going to have all of this for array 5. Then for array 6, np dot, well, let's just do this, np dot random. And we're going to say that this is going to be 15, and it's not going to have any NaN values. And so I guess here we could just copy this whole thing and then look for 5 and change it to 6. Okay. And here we're going to get rid of these NaN values. And we're still going to check, well, I mean, if you're the one that's coding this, then you should know that you're not going to have any NaN values or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and do this, and this num columns, this is going to be LB5. This is going to be LB6. And so here, this is just a standard. We've got our 15, we've got our array. We have this right here, start look back, oops, LB5. This is going to be LB6. I didn't even realize we should have that as 5 up here, or 4 up here. Let's change that. This is 4. This is going to be 4. Is there anywhere else that I should have 4? All right. So that's 5. Look back 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. This is going to be 5. Then our next one here, we're going to have our NaN values. So we'll take this. We're going to say this is 5. This is going to be 7. So let's replace all those. Boom. And this is going to be like 20. We're going to have like, I don't know, 5 of these things here. Where? Okay, 7, 7. This is all. Okay, so here's going to be the thing. So we're going to say num calls 7 equals look back 7 plus 1. And now we're going to say num calls 7 like this. And so this should end up working. So you can see here we've got all of our NaNs and NaNs this and NaNs that and all of this other fun stuff. Okay, so now we have to do this in a way where it's like, as you guys can see over here, what I want to do is avoid doing one loop, then starting from 0 and going to 3, starting from 0 going to 15, starting from 0 go to 20. So we're gonna have to do multiple while loops, okay? And so this will just carry the columns and we'll just remove the arrays as time goes on, right? So you'll have to make sure that you have yours in order. So I know that this is smallest, medium, large. So the first one, we're gonna start call equals 0. We're gonna say while call is less than look back 5. What we wanna do is I wanna do LB array 5. I think this is what I wanna do. So LB array 5, start look back 5, right here. And we're gonna do call. We're gonna say equals array 5, call. This is not right. We have to do plus array, array 5. Okay. Then we're going to say LB array 6. So this is why it's actually probably better to just have everything be the same. So that way everything is just 6 equals np.where this. So let's add this back in, and then let's just add this, just so that way it's, even though we know this is going to be 0, but we should just be able to change it on the fly. This way we can change whatever we want. So let's just have this, and let's say that this is going to be plus, even though it's always going to be 0, that's going to be fine. And we have that. And then now we're going to do the same thing with LB array 7. And we're going to do the same exact thing. LB array 7, start look back 7, plus, plus, plus. We have this plus 7 right here. And so we're creating 3 different look back arrays. Maybe one, let's say, is an RSI, maybe one is an EMA, maybe one is a whatever. This way we can, again, you avoid doing a for loop for the RSI, then doing a for loop for the EMA, then doing a for loop for the close prices, then doing a for loop for the average this, then doing it something for the volume. You just do all of these in one go. and we want to do column plus equals 1, right? So then what we want to do next is we want to get rid of this right here. Then we want to do another while loop. Call is less than look back 6. So now we basically, again, all you're doing is just copying this and putting it over here. So we're removing 5 because 5 is done. Then we're gonna go to 6. Okay. And everything is good here, right? Then what we need to do is go down here to while call is less than num calls 7, right? Because this is going to have an include, right? We're including plus 1. We're including the current candle, I would like to call it, the current index. And so we just do this. And then everything should be fine. And then what we will do is we will print look back array 5, print, oh wait a minute, array 5. Then we're going to say look back array 5. And this is spelled wrong. Then we're going to have print array 6, print this, print look back array 7. Okay. So these are, well, I guess we can get rid of these because we're printing them at the end. All right, so now we have this. So here we have our 3 NaN values and we're looking back 3. So it should be 6 of these, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're starting at like 25. Oh, let's do it again. There's too many. Okay, so there's no same numbers here. So we're starting at 20, 16, 18, 11, 21, 20, 16, 18, 23, 21, 20, 16, and so on. So that works. Here we have no NaN values, but we're looking back 5. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at 20. So 21, 18, 16, 26, 19. So we have that row, we have this row, we have the rows. And so you can see that they all work. And then here we have this big one that has a bunch of NaN values in it. We have 26. So we're including 26, 26, 22, blah, 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 all the way to 27. Then we're at 17 and we're including it. So you could do something like include 7 equals false. That we say, whoops, num calls this if, wait, if include 7, yeah. So here we're adding this as a true false statement. So we're saying if include 7. So if this is true, then do look back 7 plus 1, else just do look back 7. And that's just a if-else statement in one line. And so here, we're going to change that to false. And then here, if we go back down, you'll see that it's, where's 26? Let's see here. Let me just make sure that this works. All right. I just realized that it's probably a better way to start from the end. And so here you can see that we're not including it. We have it set to false. And so here's 29. So we're at 12, 13, 15, whatever, blah, 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 all the way to 29. Then the next one is 12, and so on and so on. So if I add this to true, I put true here, and I run it, we should see that 23 is now included. So we have 23, 18, blah, 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 all the way to 16. Then 18, blah, 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 all the way to 25. And so this is all, everything is working properly now. So again, we can come up here and change all of these things. So I guess I should probably have this like so. And actually, you know what? I probably should just do this. I should probably do include or 5 equals false, include 6 is false, and then copy this and put that where the hell should I put that? Right here. So this is going to be 5, 5, 5, 5. And then here, 6, 6, 6, 6. And then we'll do this. And all of that should still work. So now we can go and change this to true if we wanted to. And it's going to give us an error. An error. Just 1 second. So I forgot to change this columns right here. And this numcalls right here. And so now it'll work. So now we have completely allowed it to where you can, all you literally have to do is just change these things and they represent your different look back arrays and stuff like that. So now we get to the point where we are going to go ahead and create a function, and then we'll get into actually downloading some candles, creating the RSI, doing some other things like that. So first we're going to create just a MP look back number 1, just doing one of these things. And then eventually, you know, you can go through and like completely customize, adding however many different lookbacks you need to and stuff like that. But I just want to give a function idea here. All right, so here we have our function. So I just call it like numpy lookback 1, and we're taking one array, one include lookback number. So we have our number of columns equals lookback. If it's include, we add 1. And then here we're going to say our array size, this, grab end of the index array, just 1 second. I just see what I just did there. So instead of doing this, you just do the array size minus the look back and you get the same exact number. So that's why I was like, I wonder, why did I have the array size? So here we have our array size. We put the size here. Then we just do this array size minus look back. That might actually be a better idea to do something like that. So just make sure you guys implement that up here. So that way, in case you have a gigantic array that's like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, you just get the size one time and you don't have to recalculate the size again. Okay, and then we have our NaN values, and then we have our SPA, and we have our look back, our add arrays, and we have everything here. And so if we come in here and we basically do this, so we have our test array, NP floats, we have some NaN values, we say true, we have a look back of 3, boom, we change this to false. It gets rid of it if we have this to 4. Everything is here. If we change this to 15, everything works. So we have our look backs, we change to true. We have everything that we need in order to start working with that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to download some candles, create an RSI look back, and do some actual calculations like summing, less than, all of that fun stuff. And yeah, and then we'll eventually map this stuff out so you guys can see that. So stay tuned for that. All right, so let's download some candles. So here I do candles equals DLEX candles. The exchange is MUFEX. The symbol is BTC USDT. The time frame is 5 minutes. Since datetime, I'm just doing this datetime right here. And we'll go ahead and run that. And so now we'll have our candles. And then for the RSI, we're going to do RSI equals RSI TV. The source is going to be candle close prices. Then length is going to be 14. And then we're going to round the RSI by 2. So you guys can see here, we have our RSI right now. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the RSI look back. So here we're going to say, let's look back 4 candles and it's going to be the RSI, and we're not going to include the current candle. And so here we're just going to have the RSI look back show up from 12 to 25. So you can see this is actual RSI values that are look back. Okay. And again, I'm just starting at 12 and going to 25. So you can see that there's the NAND values, and then there's the actual values here starting properly. And here we're going to see what this is right here. So this RSI 12 to 25. And so you can see here at 57. So we're here. Well, let's just start, like I said last time, I messed up. So at the very end, we're at the very end, and then we're going to look back these four. Yeah, we're going to look back these four. Then we're going to start here, and we're going to look back these four, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so everything so far is looking really, really good. So next is, okay, you probably want to start to try to do some types of calculations and stuff to these, right? So let's sum up the RSI look back, and we're going to do axis one, because we want to do the columns. I think my mouse is dying on me. So we want to do the columns. So we want to sum up this column, sum up this column, sum this column, sum this column. And that's going to give us a flat array, right? And so we have 2 to whatever, 200 this, 200 that, 200 this. And oh my God, my mouse is literally dying. Just 1 second. All right, we should be good. So that's what the axis 1. If you did axis 0, then you would be summing in columns. If you do axis 1, you're summing through row by row by row by row by row by row by row. Okay? And then, sorry, I'm watching something on another screen, and this guy, this guy, what in the hell? I like Kick, man. Kick is the best. That's so funny. All right. So we're printing that look back, and then here we are dividing by 4. So this is going to tell us what the average of these 4 is, right? So maybe you wanted to get the average. So this is how you can get the average. So you can sum up the row, and then you can get the average, and then this tells you what your average RSI length is. So you could say something like, you could create a strategy that says, like, if the average RSI length is above this or below this or whatever, then we should take a trade. So these are different ways that you can use the summing. And so now let's see about the RSI is below. So this is a very classic. If the RSI, tell me where the RSI is less than 30, right? So here it's basically doing the same thing. If you were to, yeah, so this is doing the same thing. So it's doing element wise, right? This is doing it element wise. So what we can do here is take the result. Oh, wait. And if you did any, you would basically be saying, if any in this row, right? If we're doing axis 1, if any of these are true, then give me a true. If none of them are true, then give me a false. And so that's why you see these falses right here. And so now what we're going to do, like we talked about in the, let's get rid of this 1. Like we talked about with the where is going to tell us the indexes. So where do we have a true index? At 45, 46, 47, 48, blah, 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 blah. These are all of our true indexes, right? And so if we do this, you can see that we have a false there. If we do this, you'll see that we have a true. And if we do this, 47, you'll see that we have a false, true, false, false. So that's why we get our true value for any. Now, most of the time, not most of the time, but maybe you also want to do all. So all of these things need to be true in order for you to give me a true value. Okay? So what does that look like? Same exact thing here. RSI look back results all equals RSI look back result dot all axis 1. And so we're going to run this, and it's going to give us a flat array, but it's going to be looking. And so what do we need to do? We need to do the same exact thing. This guy is basically getting wow, she won't stop. All right, so now you can see this. And remember earlier when I said you have to do 0, so you can see here is a tuple. This is a tuple. Like if I do this type, this is why you have to do 0. All right, so now these are our indexes. These are our indexes where everything is true. We have 4 trues in a row. Okay, and so if we did the same exact thing here with RSI, look back, result, all, and we did 716, you would see we get a true here. And then if we did this, 716, you'll see true, true, true. What if we did 715? Nope. 717? Nope. 716. So we have all of our true values. So this is the only part where the excluding the current RSI at index 716, all of them are going to be below the 30 on the RSI. Okay, and now what we're going to do is recreate what we saw on the other one. So here we have our candles. We're downloading them from Mufex. We have our symbol is BTC USDT. Time frame 5 minutes. Since I'm doing 2024 5/16, and I'm just going to download 500 candles. That's all. That's all I want to do. We'll create the RSI. We're going to round it again. We're going to get the look back 1. We're going to get the RSI, and then here we're going to include it, and then we're also going to look back 5. So we're going to basically say, including the current candle, 6. So we're looking back 5, but we're also including the current candle. So we're saying the past 6 candles have to be less than 30. So you can see this all. So we have this RSI less than 30. We're wrapping that in a parentheses, and we're doing dot all. Axis equals 1. We're getting our signal indexes, np.where, results. And then again, we're going to have this, and that's going to give us our settings index. And so that only happens one time out of these 500 candles, that we have 6 of these things basically being like that. If we do false, then we'll have 2 places. So do true. Okay. And so we have our settings index, and then this is where we graph. So this is not a graphing tutorial, but it is always important to graph. You have to make sure that you always are graphing so you can see what the hell is going on. Because for now it's like just looking at these numbers, it's impossible to visualize what do things actually look like. What is this right? Is this wrong? What's going on? And so here we're going to do make subplots. We're going to have 1 column, 2 rows, share the same axis. One's going to be candles. You guys can just stop this if you guys actually want to do this. But here we're just going to create the candles. You can stop and pause and read. Here we're going to create the signal index. So we're basically saying the entries is going to be the date times of the signal indexes, the candles, the close prices of the signal indexes. Then here is going to be just the RSI. So we're providing the date times and the RSI. Then here we're doing the first and the last date time, and they're both going to be 30. So this is just going to be our below line to show us where our 30 line is. And then here is going to be our signal indexes for our markers for the RSI. And then I'm just having this as 800 and show. And that's how you get this. So then now you can zoom in and you can clearly see, right? You can clearly see as to why we only have one situation where it is like that. Over here, maybe it could have been possible, but if we had less. Oh, this is 30.01. Look at that. Nope. So this is 1, 2, 3, Oh, wow. So if we had it as a look back of 3 and not including the current candle, then this one would have popped as well. And then maybe this area. Yeah, this area would have popped. So there would have been 3 or 4 maybe, because there's other areas. This would have popped like 3 or 4 times right here. But you can see this one is 29.99. That's absolutely insane. So that's how you visualize it. So this is extremely important. You're going to be using this look back thing a million times to get the average of the past like 6 candles for the volume, the average of the RSI, the average of the EMAs. You name it. Comparing the averages, you could be looking back and saying, are the past 10 candles below the past 10 candles of the EMA? If they are, then we're in a downtrend or something like that. And so there's so many sources for this, but the main thing that you're really going to have to pay attention to is this one right here, is because this is extremely, extremely, extremely important. You can just knock all this out in one go. You know, you can create all of your stuff, but the fact that this is kind of repeating a lot makes me think that there's some more efficient way to do this. So if you know of a more efficient way to do it, you can let me know. But we are going to move on to the next section now. All right, so like I promised, for the end of the video, you guys can see this. This is a completely custom made. It's going pretty fast, but you're able to see each and every single trade that happened, where we took profit, where we got stopped out, where the entries are, where the exits are. You guys can watch the replays. If you guys want access to that, you guys want to go to the Discord, which is linked down below, and let me know what your skill level is, because if you have a certain level of skill, we will give this to you, because you have to know Python a little bit. You have to know JavaScript. You have to be teachable, because this is, you got to change a whole bunch of stuff in it. And also follow me on Kick. I'm going to be doing some live streaming there. We're going to be doing some React content, some coding. We're going to be watching some videos, having some fun, just chilling there. And if you guys want to sign up and get a free month, right, a completely free month for this RSI, following this strategy and other strategies, you're going to go to the website link right here, and it should look something like this depending upon when you're watching it. Just go to the services or copy trading, and you guys can see all of the active bots right now. I just have this one, but you can click the sign up. It'll tell you the instructions on how to get the free month. But for the most part, you're going to basically just follow me on GitHub, Twitter, Instagram, and most importantly on Kick. We're trying to grow that following there. And yeah, and you're just going to follow the rest of the signups. You're going to have to post that hey, in the Discord, hey, I followed you, and you'll get that free month. And yeah, here's what the website looks like as of making this video. It could look different depending on when you're watching it. And also too, don't forget to join the Discord to be a part of the Algo trading community, where we're doing back tests like this. You can see all of these total P&Ls over just a month's period of time. 300,000, 100,000, 100,000, whatever. I mean, it's just absolutely stupid. And then you guys can also see here that we have the trades in Plotly form. You can see the P&L graph here as well. So all of that, most importantly, like I said, if you want to follow these for a month completely for free, go to the website, follow the instructions in the sign up that you'll see right here. It'll bring you to a page like this. At the end, after you're done reading all of it, you can sign up. And also too, if you want access to this, come join the Discord. And like I said, follow the Twitter, Instagram, GitHub, and most importantly, the Kick live stream. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. I'll catch you guys on the next one.